So we're going to start with disassembling the original switch dock. So there's going to be 8 tri-wing screws, so that is going to be probably the hardest part about this, is getting them off. You can buy one of these little screwdriver sets that has a couple little like PC repair and cell phone. Usually they'll come with a tri-wing and a couple other Torx. That's where I got mine, so that's going to be probably one of the only things you might have to buy tool-wise. So we're going to remove these really quick. And just so you know, in case you have to put this back together, there are 4 short tri-wing screws and then 4 longer tri-wing screws. So just make sure to remember to keep them. The long ones go in this thicker part where the actual electronics are. The little short ones are for the back panel. And I have also taken off the back piece. It is just held on by clips, so you can just pull it off. And be careful though, just so you don't snap it, but it is removable. Alright, so now we've got the tri-wings taken off. So we should be able to pull this top piece off and remove it. Next, you're going to see that all of the circuit board pieces are here, which there really isn't much. So really carefully, there's a little flap. I'll actually see if I can zoom in here. A little flap right here, so what you need to do is carefully, from the side where the ribbon comes in, you just have to pull it up. I'll get some more close-up pictures so people can see. You're going to pull it up, and then you should be able to just pull the circuit board. There's a little retention clip here on the side. You should be able to just pull it up and pull the cable out. You'll also notice that there is one little power cable. This goes to the LED, so we're just going to carefully unplug that, and there we go. Back out. Okay, so now we have removed this guy. Next we have to remove the actual USB-C, and then we can also take off the little LED. So now we can go back to just a Phillips head screwdriver. There's 3 screws here. Remove those. Okay, so that's all it's needed. I gotta remember how to get it off. Oh, sorry. There's 3 screws, and then there's another 5 that are really deep. So 8 screws from the outside, 8 black screws using tri-wing, and I believe that these might be the last 8 Phillips heads. Okay. Did I miss one? Missed one. Overall, this modification is real simple. It's just a bit of screws. Actually, now, there we go. I can just literally pull that off. Now here's kind of the remaining parts. So we've got the USB-C connectors right here with the ribbon cable, and we've got the LED for, showing you whether the thing's on or not. So what we can do is okay. There are 4 more screws on the bottom of the USB-C. The only thing you're going to want to be careful of is that this is spring-loaded, so just make sure you don't let anything fly out. It's not like crazy compression or anything, so you don't have to worry about it really flying much, but just make sure it doesn't pop off. gonna pull this guy off. What you should have is one USB-C assembly, two springs, and then one of these pieces that was what goes inside the dock. So now this guy should also just pop off, which lets you take the LED out very easily. Okay, so let me kind of clear up and get ready for the next part. Alright, so coming to the assembly, we now have all of our pieces up here. I've taken a kit and basically peeled off all the masking, so now it's actually the color it's supposed to be. That's something that you guys will have to do, and it might take you a little bit, might take you a long time, but that's something that I'm not going to videotape myself doing. So to start things off, best way to do this is going to be to take your flat piece, the one that has these 4 extra holes. Those are for the PCB, so I'm going to move the other top out of the way. It's going to be really easy to tell which side's down because you'll see that the screw holes, the big ones, they're going to be countersunk, and what you want is the bigger sided towards the bottom. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the small tiny screws. These are M2 screws. These are the ones that we are going to be using to hold the PCB. On the side where you can see the actual cone, the larger side of the screw hole, we're going to put these into the small ones. So you can tell which side's down by these big holes, but you're going to put it into the small one. I'm going to flip it over. You're going to take one of these tiny M2 standoffs and screw it on. You can just do it by hand for now. So we're going to do that for all 4 of these holes. I'm going to do this first, even though the PCB is going to be one of the last things we're going to do. I want to do these first because once we start putting the other standoffs for the case, it's a lot harder to get your fingers in there, and it's just easier to do it once and for all. Alright, so there we go. We've got the 4 standoffs for the PCB. So the next thing is going to be to put these larger standoffs. These are going to be the ones that hold the case together. So these are M3s. You're going to use the larger screws for these. So on the bottom, you're going to feed the screw through the hole and hold it with your finger, and then you're going to screw it on by hand. Now you want to do this kind of lightly because you still want to be able to rotate it, because you're going to have to orient it to the pieces that we're going to be installing onto them. So you're going to want to do this to all 6 of them. One more. Okay, so now we've got the larger standoff, so you still want to have them a little bit loose. So, the first one we're going to do is that when you have this facing like this, you're going to take the L-shaped pieces, and there's going to be one way that goes in. So you're going to want the longer piece to be on your right side if you're doing it in this orientation. Basically, if you do it the other way, you'll notice it's not going to line up, so it should be fairly easy to tell if you put it on the right way or not. So we're going to do that. We're going to feed in all 7 of these. And the whole purpose of leaving these guys a little loose is so that you can make sure that they line up with the actual hex holes. That way you're not struggling to try to torque it in. You shouldn't have to force anything in. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so now those are set. So now we're going to do the same thing with these guys. So we're going to put it, we're going to kind of twist these to line it up. Okay, there's one, and there's the other. So we're going to do again. We're going to do all 7 of these. We'll do the final tightening and everything once we have the rest of the case together. We just want to make sure it sticks together for now. So we're going to rotate this one, rotate that one. There we go. But like I said, you shouldn't have to force anything. Acrylic can be kind of fragile, so you don't want to, if it feels like you're forcing it, check exactly what's going on, because most of this should fit pretty much really easily. Okay, so we've got the basic outer portion done. So what we've got now is that we have these two pieces. So these guys are going to be the ones that hold the USB-C connector into place. So the one that has the big hole, as you can see, it's supposed to match up with this piece, which is the one that was currently what your switch would actually sit on. So that one's going to line up with that. So let's see. We're going to put this piece in first. So on this one, there's an extra cutout. This is meant so that your ribbon cable can actually pass over and won't get, jammed or guillotined in there. So please make sure that you put that on the side that your ribbon's going to go on. So I'm going to put that up towards the top. I'm going to take this assembly. So the big thing with this is that we have to make sure that this is put in the right way so that we can get it to connect correctly. So if you're reconnecting this, you want to have this blue piece of tape, or whatever this is, up, and you want to put this in very carefully. And it should almost click in, and then you can close the little flap so that it tightens up. So the idea is we get this piece into here, and then we're going to have this cable, this ribbon, folded underneath this, so that way it's tucked underneath. So the only thing we have to do very carefully is that these ribbon cables, you can slowly fold it over like that, and you can unbend one of the bends that was initially put into this, and then we're going to fold it back like that. Okay, so we're basically shortening it up. So I'm not going to super press it and make a crease or anything, but I'm just going to lightly put it in position. I'm going to fold this guy back and drop it over. So the idea is that now we have the ribbon cable going from underneath the PCB over the little wall and back into this guy. You can also flip it upside down and pass the ribbon cable under. It's up to you, whatever you find easier. I just like doing it this way. But so we're going to put the springs back into this. There's these two little pins that you can put it into. And then we're going to put this guy back on. This guy, if you have the ribbon cable on the bottom, this cutout should also go on the bottom. So you line it up, there's also some pins, you're going to make it fit in. You're going to hold it down. You're going to take this piece and put it in front, and then stick it into the holes. So right now it's loosely held together, but it's holding, this piece is holding the front side, this one's holding the back. And make sure that it's in place and stays there. We're going to want to basically take this guy and line it up with the holes. Again, once you have it set up in one direction, the holes won't line up if you put it on backwards, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just realizing I forgot. You can also attach your LED back if you want to, which I'm going to do. Depending on what color you get, it might not be useful at all because it'll be underneath an opaque color, but in this case, I'm actually going to plug it back in. I've attached a piece of double-sided tape to this, so I'm just going to stick that right there. Now I'm going to put this back on. Now again on this side, you don't want to tighten them all the way. Just trying to put them in. Now we're going to flip it over and tighten everything up. Alright, and there we go. You now have your Nintendo Switch dock put into a much smaller, easier to travel case. The only thing you'll need to do is get a USB-C extension cable so that you can plug it into this, and that way you can feed it over and put it onto your Switch.